Hi guys. Oh, this is all lopsided. Wait. Well, you're charging. So you're kind of, tethered to be on one exact spot for a while because you've got some flaws too. And we've got to make sure we work those out before anything else. Or it's going to be really weird for everybody. If you die, if my phone dies, Working on this red lip. With more energy than you filled your laundry with. I'm kidding, but it's fun. I don't know. Okay. So, you're not gonna know why, but I'm back with another twin flame video. I have more questions in my camera roll, and these ones don't even pertain to a specific deity or anything because they're old questions I just had that I don't think I used yet. So we're just doing this weird little ritual thing where you're gonna wonder why I'm doing it, I'm gonna wonder why I'm doing it, but I'm going to be working on this for today and accepting that even if it's weird, that's just what I chose to do. Yeah. Okay. Question number 1. If your twin flame dynamic was a ritual, how would it begin and how would it end? Okay, I'm gonna write that down, my answer, because I feel like I need a minute. My twin flame ritual would start as an enchanted lavender bath surrounded by amethyst as a love spell. Because you can do love spells on your twin flame, it's like doing it on yourself. It's not your fault they ran away. It's not your fault they don't like you. Well, that's how I see it, but I also don't really care about morality of the public as much as I care about my own, because at the end of the day, I do care about like stuff that like matters and stuff, but like I do, but at the end of the day, I know I don't make your choices, I make mine. So I don't have to be fine with you doing something, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just fine with what I do. I guess that's how I see it. But okay, so, and my twin flame ritual would end as a date at a carnival because his love is a circus. I'm kidding. I just have a great personality, but yeah. I think, okay, multiple things could be true at the same time, but yeah. It's funny, I think being a twin flame and then not being able to prove it is like, you can't prove you're getting less than you deserve. For what reason? Oh, because it could have gone to somebody else. You have to be able to find ways that don't even scientifically exist on the planet, ways that are not scientifically proven, to prove that you're receiving less than you deserve. You have to become a sorcerer or like a physicist or something. You have to be able to, you should be receiving like a Nobel Prize for what you finally win or learn, I mean. Like, to be honest, there should be like another category for like kind of a spiritual version that is like valid, to be honest. This next question It reminds me of something we should probably talk about. Okay. But it's a little bit more complex of an answer than the question sounds like it is. Okay. The question kind of comes from this space of like, based on modern psychology, here's like a shaming, weird version of like what's going on, what seems to be going on. What energy exchange keeps pulling you back in? I'm gonna write down my answer really quick because I feel like the answer shows why it's not completely black and white. Okay? Okay. What do I keep getting pulled back in by? I don't actually get pulled back in by some impossible magic he must be doing. I care to do rituals to chase a deeper level of DNA activation. I want to empower myself to speak about what I feel, the way that I feel it. And I felt like I had patterns where I just wanted to cause like betrayal in his life for no reason. But, and his life was already difficult, so there's kind of like no point in that. And it isn't like accomplishing anything. So, but I felt like that was because I didn't know why he was not psychic enough to see that I was his twin flame. So, but I only knew because a deity told me. Obviously, if you don't believe in that, then like, I don't know what you're doing for this video. Like, I don't know what you're, you know what I mean? But like, so it actually can mean that a deity can give you information that you're still not psychic enough to like discover completely on your own. You just know that it's true when they tell you because of the way that they tell you. But so I think just in general, there's different types of DNA activations that you can work on. And that's sort of what I believe creating content does. And then the theme of your content is like the type of DNA activation you get eventually, like if you keep going down the same path. So yeah, that's kind of why I don't think it's weird. Also, side note, it's not something that like a psychic has been able to like confirm for me, because I was not supposed to go through humans, which is sort of like the more rough side of mine. But because some parts of life were kind of difficult, it's like we were expected to be able to find another way to find out that has nothing to do with humans. So while yeah, people are like respectful of the belief, whatever, there were times, like for example, when I was in England, like I actually paid a few different psychics because I didn't know why he was mad at me. He could not text and be like, he like unfollowed me on my birthday, but I didn't know if he knew it was my birthday, so it was weird. I didn't think he knew, but like I think he just randomly did that because he was mad, but like couldn't tell me why he was mad. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna pay a few psychics to find out if he's my real twin flame, because I felt like I already experienced something that confirmed that. So I was like, okay, like I literally sat there. I paid like, they were actually not expensive. This was a very long time ago. I was not into magic. I didn't know anything. Okay, I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything. This was a very long time ago. Okay, so I went on Keen.com. If you've ever been on there, they do actually have services where it's like you could get a job through them. Like if you're a psychic, you do like a little quiz. Actually, I wanted to do that, but then I didn't end up doing it because applying for it was difficult, or they said like all of their spots were filled up or something weird. Okay, but they actually, it's more like mainstream psychics, so it's kind of like kind of sketchy but kind of real sometimes. I don't know. Okay. Okay. So basically, if you go on Keen and you want to be a psychic, it's like they ask you like a few questions, but it's like multiple choice. They're testing you for dyslexia or something like that, I'm pretty sure. I don't really know because I didn't do it, but I wanted to. But they're testing you for dyslexia, and then they say like if you have it, you're like a psychic or something. So it's a little bit not what the rest of us see psychics as, I guess. But okay, you can do like tarot. Okay, but it's like a $5 reading or something, or it's like a $1 reading, or it's like you're chatting with them. It's based on time, so it'll be like a few dollars for a few minutes. So honestly, if you're like a very evolved psychic, but you really, really, really want to only do like a 1-card tarot reading for a person you've never met, I don't know. I get that, but like, I wanted to do it because I thought it would be fun, and I already know like the meanings of the cards and stuff, but like, the universe said not me because, again, all the spots were filled, whatever. That's a completely different story. So I decided I was going to go on there and get some kind of reading to find out, is that even my real twin flame? Like, what am I doing? I think that was the first time I ever like talked to any kind of psychic or psychic, because would I say they were the most psychic? No. What happened? I think there were probably like 8 different people, but I only paid like $1 or $2 for each one. Which honestly, for them, that's like a ripoff for their time. Probably, I don't know. I don't want to think about it, but people only charge what they choose to charge. But like, it does stress me out to think about. But also, I'm not made of money either. Like, if I had $1 million, you know what I mean? Then maybe I could donate to like their situation more. But like, I don't know. No, it's like a real job. But like, I think you guys know what I mean, though. Sometimes when you go to a real psychic or somebody that might be a real psychic, you're like, I wish I could just give them $1 million, but like, we cannot do that if we have $5 in our bank account. I know, but yeah, I try not to worry about it, but yeah. So I went to each of the psychics separately. It was like a 1-minute reading or something. 1 minute $2 reading, or a 3-minute $5 reading or something. Okay, they pull one tarot card and then they like text you back, but if they text really slow, they use up all your time. So it's a little sketchy for that reason, because you choose how many minutes you pay for, and they'll try to make it look like they're typing back. It has like a counter, so it'll be like in the last like 15 seconds, they try to make it look like they're typing something really long, and then it cuts off the time, and you're supposed to give them like a few more dollars if you want the time to get extended. So they try to do shady stuff that feels weird. They try to do whatever's next level kind of weird, to like bait you and giving them $5 more or $3 more, which is why it becomes confusing. But if you can somehow separate that energy from whatever's going on in your reading, they would draw one card to try to tell you yes or no, this is your twin flame. And I could tell, well, I didn't tell them the situation or what was going on, because I wanted to see if they were actually a psychic, because it's like a different style of being psychic, so I wanted to see if it was like they were actually lying or if it was true that time, because I didn't even know if psychics were real. So basically, I knew they were all sort of lying or sort of on the spot trying to come up with something, only because they all gave me different answers, and they would all say, for example, it's like, he doesn't have a dog or something, right? It would be like, is this my twin flame? They would be like, oh, it's the Chariot. That means yes, but I'm seeing that like his dog is like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, they would be like, oh, like, yeah, but his dog like just broke its leg, and like that means that like he's so mad at you, like, because he thought that there was like a spiritual connection to the reason why his dog broke its leg, to like to you, and he thinks that if you're doing like witchcraft, it means his dog broke its leg because of you or something weird. Like, I was just like, okay, like, great information, thank you. Move on to the next one. Like, I still have unanswered questions because he doesn't even have a dog. Now there's a dog in the story. Like, I really tried so hard to put somebody else's abilities to the test and didn't know why developing my own might be good at all, and I didn't know what to do. So I didn't know what to do. I was like, I have to get to the bottom of whatever's going on right now. I have to find out what's going on right now. I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. Okay, ask the next one. Is this my real twin flame? They're like, no, but this one time he went to prom with a girl that just reminds him of you, so he can't forget about you. I'm like, no, like, he is forgetting about me. That's the problem. And I don't think that happened. I don't know if this is like true. What do you mean by that? Like, anyway, that's what going to like 8 different psychics on Keen looks like. But maybe you'll get really lucky and somebody will tell you something actually true, because it's like, I'm sure the website probably attracts some real psychics, but are they talking about the right person by now? Like, I don't think I've met somebody who even fits into either or both of those scenarios. And then there was another one that was like, I could tell you, it was like this old man, which, I don't know, he was doing his best, but he was like, I could tell you if you're gonna be famous someday. I chose that one. He said, you're definitely not destined to be famous, but don't worry, I know people in the industry. I'm gonna send you an email, okay? Just text back your email address. You send it back. He does not send anything to your email address. He just used like half the time on that. So like going on Keen, I would say is like just for fun. Only because, yeah, I'm never gonna be sponsored by them. They actually sponsor YouTubers who talk about twin flames. I'm like, I'm never gonna be sponsored by them, but like I had like experiences I wanted to talk about. I don't know. Actually, they could totally sponsor me if they wanted to someday, if I were famous, but like, you know what I'm saying. Whatever. If your twin flame saw your soul instead of your personality, what would they recognize instantly? First of all, I'm really doing my homework with these videos. Here's another school project. If my twin flame saw my soul instead of my personality, he would instantly recognize an understanding on a deeper level of each other that psychic abilities are not strong enough to sense, probably. He would recognize a deeper level of common traits, and he would see which blocks are actually an imbalance where one directly is given the resource the other lacks, or is not given, essentially. He would have to see where he combines situational factors in a person's life with their personality. And then I'm going to explain, there are ways we both do that without meaning to, but it's kind of like a pattern that we both have, and so I think it's almost like part of the evidence of the twin flame connection that we both have a little bit more of that than we mean to. We both might make assumptions about each other's I just lost my place in what I was reading for no reason. Okay. We both might make assumptions about each other based on situational factors. You might not see your twin's personality accurately because their current place in life doesn't feel like you. But if you asked them, you'd find that they had no options for that part of their life. So sometimes when we go to Earth, like, the life we end up with doesn't feel like the life that really, like, speaks to our soul deeply, or there's certain parts of it that don't. Maybe one part of your life, like, feels like it speaks to your soul and, like, brings life to you, but the rest of it, or some other parts, might feel like, I even feel resistance towards myself in this moment because of the other situational factors. Then it's like, well, your twin flame, you have to have such a high level of wisdom, both of you, at the same time, to recognize the reason why part of this person's energy doesn't speak to you is because it doesn't speak to themselves, and it's actually a part that they feel trapped in that they themselves probably disagree with, or if they knew there were other options, they would have done something different. So it can be like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, say your twin flame only wears red, and you don't know why they only wear red. You're like, I would never date someone who only wears red, but like they're colorblind and they never found out or something. Like, I know that's a weird example, but it's kind of about, like, just because it doesn't speak to you on a deep level, it probably doesn't speak to them on a deep level. They just might not know about it. And then if you tell them, they might really care about the difference. So there's a lot more that goes into timing, the person who's your twin flame, right? But right person, wrong timing means that the most important possible factor is, by, like, the gods setting up a situation like that, is to make sure that you do not think it's the right person, or that everything is prevented, or that everything feels wrong about it, to the point where you just decide it's the wrong person, even if it's not. Because sometimes some of the options on Earth don't feel right for anybody. But sometimes we can, like, the grass is always greener and stuff, and we can also look at our own lives and be like, well, if I know that's my twin flame, why do they not feel about me? Like, because to them it doesn't look like you guys have resources that are equal or something like that, or the opposite of that, right? Like, something like that. Yeah. And they're like, well, that can't be my twin flame because they tie their shoes wrong. Well, the gods put, like, this off-putting energy onto the way that they tie their shoes, so the first time you ever saw it, you would be, like, disturbed by it, and you would never want to talk to them again. Because you were supposed to be the runner, but then later on you would be like, oh wait, the rest of us is actually compatible, and that weird energy just went away. It sounds disturbing. It sounds like psychosis, and also very negative to even talk about. Okay. Are you aligned at the crown or clashing at the root? Honestly, I don't really know what they mean by the question, but the crown, it's just your mind. But your root, it's like your security, your basic resources and safety and all of that. So actually, I would say it actually is kind of like a very true question now that I think about it. But the reason why is because we're definitely not, like, aligned with the crown chakra, like the mind and stuff. But the reason why is because for some reason we're, like, ambushed in the connection, ambushed by, like, subliminals and stuff, which sounds like the weakest thing to be got by, but I feel like, first of all, my spirit guides kind of play into it to like test me all the time. So it would be like if you had a dream where something really bad happens with your twin flame, and then you wake up angry and you believe that it actually happened, or you believe like, you know what I mean, and then you're mad at the person because you believe that really happened, even if they technically didn't do it. Even if, like, which part of the reason why is you could say like, okay, well, I'm only having this experience because there must be like real energy where they really thought about it. They really thought about doing whatever this weird shit is, right? That I just had a dream about. They really thought about doing that, right? That's what you would think. And it's not never true. So the psychic wants to defend themselves, and your inner psychic wants to defend you from whatever the perceived threats are or must be. But there's so many more factors in what causes our dreams. So you can't think it's never true, but you can't think it's always true that what you saw in your dream is how they really feel about you. Sometimes it's more of a test, like, can you stay grounded even if you think this is true? Because your spirit guides can still play a role in like the reasons why you have certain kinds of experiences, and like you can get mad about your dreams, or it doesn't have to be a dream. It could be like, okay, what if you have like a vision of something that's actually not true, but your spirit guides wanted to test you? Do you feel like you're in a secure connection with your twin flame, that you can believe that the really disturbing thing that you just believed about them out of nowhere, like, are you in such a secure connection with your twin flame that like you can believe something really disturbing to be true, but then you can realize, okay, it's not true, or there's not evidence to back this up, right? It does exist on multiple levels, so you can sometimes have to be like, well, there's not evidence to back this up. Like, I'm not gonna like jump to conclusions, as much as I would love to hold them accountable for that. At the same time, if there's not a reason to believe they would actually do whatever you had a vision about, it's good to be aware of. Obviously, if you have a vision they're like a serial killer and then you find out they are, then that's like extreme. It's not like that. People have different like spiritual things to work on, but it would be like, say you had, I don't know, say you had a dream that like they were talking to somebody specific, but like, let's say at the same time, actually in real life they were not, okay? Which I know you'd be like, oh wait, how do I know they're not? Like, what if I believe they are? Whatever, right? So that's sort of what it does. You can, which if you tell the whole planet, then it's like, say you were in a relationship and you had a dream your twin flame cheated on you. You could have a whole entire like host of thoughts and beliefs and confusion about it, because at first you could be like, well, if I'm spiritual enough to believe that's my twin flame and I had a dream they cheated on me, what if that's proof that that actually happened? What if a dream is proof enough that it already happened? What if they had an intrusive thought about it and then they decided they would never do that, but you had a dream that it actually happened? So it's sort of like it's like, wait, back up, like, just because you had a dream doesn't mean it has to be true. Doesn't mean that it has to be physically a thing that's happening, right? And people have so many different types of energy, and like, they might even feel like they're in a weird energy where they feel guilty as if it did happen, but it didn't happen like in the real world, right? And they don't know why they feel that way. They're like, oh, it's weird, I feel guilty for no reason. I keep thinking of this, but I don't want to think about that. And then you're over here having dreams that it already happened. And every time they have that thought, they're like, well, I would never do that. You know what I mean? So there's almost like spiritual attack still with like twin flames, but it's like they can both experience it. But sometimes it's like the spirit guides testing you to see like, would you believe it if this was happening? Or like, you know what I mean? Or like, it can feel disrespectful, but it's at the same time a level that you know you haven't beat because you were willing to believe it, and that's like the whole entire thing. So definitely invasive spirit guides, but at the same time, it makes you think about it, and as you overcome it, you almost still could become grateful that they tested you in a way, but like it doesn't mean that you wanted the whole entire experience to happen at the same time. So I don't know if that answers. Yeah, so I think that can make us like clashing at, or well, you can't fully be aligned in the crown if your spirit guides are trying to cause you to go a completely separate direction from them, like, you know what I mean? So it's like you're waking up to a dream that you guys were in a relationship and they cheated on you. Well, you guys have never been in a relationship, but they don't even believe that you're their twin flame. So you're trying to work through this weird issue as if it was true that that happened. They're trying to figure out why they've never felt like they were actually your twin flame, but you believe it, right? And like they're not psychic enough to know for sure why you would think that. So yeah. If your connection was stripped of all fantasy, what would remain? So I don't know for the question if all fantasy means every magical or spiritual part, or if all fantasy means all the good parts. Because sometimes the magical and spiritual parts are the really hard parts, and sometimes, yeah, I don't know. I just forgot the other thing I was even talking about, so, okay, all magical or spiritual parts, if it were stripped of that, I think it would be, if it were stripped of all magical or spiritual parts, well then, there would be no reason to believe it's your twin flame. If my connection was stripped of all magical or spiritual parts, I would be a jealous bitch who's a psychopath, who is manipulative. I would be a black widow. I would be not in the sense of like technically killing a man or something. I was talking about like the animal, like spiritually, right? So I would essentially be trying to manipulate and force my twin flame to like I think I would look like I'm like doing research on like his insecurities to try to like what's it called? I would look like I'm trying to be a really good actor, to the point that I don't even know how to describe what that would mean I would be doing. Okay, so I would be using like guilt probably, right, as like a manipulation tactic, where I very diligently studied every single bullet point possible insecurity he could have, and then planned this massive spiderweb of like how to trap him in a twin flame connection, right? Like if there were no fantasy, it would have to be like I don't know how to explain it, because I would have to be a really good actor to where the vulnerability that I show would have to be able to be completely fake. I would just be like the best actor that's ever been born on the planet. So I don't know how I would go that far, but like Oscar worthy, like better than any movie you've ever seen. like I would have to be, just to be a Black Widow, right? So just to trap this man who, I don't know how to explain it. I would have to really be like, I'm not even trying to get to what could I possibly be getting out of it, right? If there were no spiritual parts of it, again, I would just be it would be like guilt and manipulation. It would be, I feel so terrible even saying the possible, like, because it's not possible that I'm somehow doing that without knowing. Like, how good of an actor would I have to be? Come on. okay? I can't even think like on the spot of like what it would be. I would have to be like someone who, I don't know, I was gonna say doesn't believe in twin flames. Well, if there were no, what would I have to even be doing? Like, I'm so lost. Okay. I think I never think about my life without a spiritual context. Like, because I never think about like what would the atheist perspective of what I'm currently doing even mean or be like I'm so far aside from that I don't even remember what that would really be. So I think, yeah, like I think I would have okay, so it's more like it would be kind of masochistic if you had like a masochistic like Black Widow, right? Because you have to think about the fact that I would not only be trying to manipulate a man into thinking that he's somehow cheating on me without a commitment, but like, but I would also either be pretending to have the lived experience of having emotions at all, or it would be like a masochistic like, oh, I don't mind, like, but you don't know that I don't mind. Like, I would have to be kind of a sadist to, like, try to plan it. What else would I be? It would just be, like, the most psychopathic, it would be kind of like psychopathic, psychosis, where I think that, like, trapping a man, I would have to be trying to identify which part of his mind is psychologically weaker than me so that I can sort of like get in, right, to the like as if it's like a building, right? So I'd have to be trying to analyze like, okay, which part of his brain is psychologically weaker than me so I can like get in, and then I would have to try to like change things, which just because I can describe from my imagination what that means or what that looks like, there's honesty and emotional vulnerability, and then there's like just being the most psychotic person that's ever existed on the planet. Like I don't know. Oh yeah, and then his side, I think his side would pretty much be like the same. He would just have to be like, oh, that is just some woman, I don't know. Like so what would I be getting out of it? I would be seeking to embarrass myself instead of seeking a twin flame union. I would be trying to I would have to be like a sociopath, right? Because I'd have to be someone who would be like trying to use the audience to then guilt trip him, my twin flame, or he wouldn't be my twin flame, he would be some random man that I assigned the identity of being the one person who I would then be, well, you can't say worshiping because there's no magical parts of the thing, right? So I would have to be like, I would have to be trying to convince him that I'm obsessed with him while not being obsessed with him necessarily, but there would have to be some resource I'm trying to like acquire by it, trying to use the audience as like guilt for it, which doesn't make sense, but okay. And then I would be having to bring multiple people into the conversation just to like ruin them. Like essentially you'd have to see me as such a psychopath. What would you even, I don't know. But see, then it wouldn't be bias against witches, because witches wouldn't be able to be real because there's no fantasy in the, or magical world building energy or anything in the like version of that reality. So I would be wanting to plan like a 7-year long plan where all I'm gonna do is tear down other women, achieve the ownership of one specific man, regardless of how hard it is, I would not randomly decide to move on and choose a different man that would be a lot easier to do this with. You know how many men would be easier to force into this? Like, I think that's really what it is. That's really what it is. It's just like, are there not... I would have to have, like, such an extreme history of being a psychopath for that to even probably cross my mind as a thing I could do. That would have to be, like, first of all, that would have to be, like, my number one hobby is, you know what I would have? Hear me out. Listen to this, okay? I would be on one side, I would kind of be the coolest person ever because I would have infinite stamina for rejection of this multi-year plan. I would have to be like a mastermind, but why would I single out one specific man for my just mentally incomprehensible plan? Okay, what could I possibly... I mean, he's not like a millionaire, which I'm not saying, like, I'm not financially, like, judging my twin flame, but, like, you have to understand, for this storyline to make sense, you would think it would be, like, a man with, like, $100 million in his pocket right now, or why would I be trying to make, like, a 7-year-long plan to, like, ruin my own life in order to guilt trip him into being interested? What? Okay. Hey, I'm listening. Okay, yes, I seem like all of that to you. Okay. Then you think that I am a genius beyond the capacity that it even occurred to me a person could be. But thank you for the compliment. I'll just take the compliment, to be honest with you, dude. Like, okay. I don't know. I'll tell you what I've learned from this is that I would at least have to have such a deep belief that it would be worth it. And the emotional capacity to be vulnerable in relation to that belief. Does that mean other people can prove that it's true to themselves? Not at the moment. So it goes both ways, but like I think I pretty much proved to myself that I would have to actually believe it, but whatever. Oh no, it looks like I'm manipulative if I even tell you that. I don't know. What? No, actually, I think it healed something in me to realize how much I would have to be doing in order to like care to fake it to that degree, so I feel a little bit less self-conscious, actually. Because, wait, there's so many layers to how difficult it would actually be for me to do that. Also, I would be so multi-talented because I'm also working on music. I would also have to be this level of a manipulator. Like, I would just have to, how would I even be on the planet if I've got this, I've got that, I've got that. I'm also pretty cute. Like, I've got everything then at that point. Just for magic to not be real, so none of this comes from magic. Not just how I look, but like, none of anything comes from magic. I'm just getting better at things because getting better at things is real without magic. Okay, I don't know what that is, but... Next question. Now that you know that I'm just this psychopathic black widow with an impossible mind, and that I made this 7-year plan to hatch some eggs inside of this man's body and then eat him while he's dying. Or something like that, right? Exactly. Now that you know, now that it's now that we're all open about that, it's almost like I don't have to pretend anymore, you know? Just got this impossible mind. What was I gonna use it for? I was gonna get bored. If anything, it takes out the boredom, you know? Of course. Look, at that point in time, I could probably come up with a plan to like get my own money though. is another thing I didn't even think of, because so it would have to be like, I don't know, it would have to be that, you know how like the plan could be for me to get my own money? Like, I want to evolve the character. I'm like, what? No, but like, it's like the plan could either be like get my own money or force a man to do it for me, but I have to choose a specific man who doesn't already have the resources to then force him to acquire the resources somehow. I think money would have to be probably the problem or something. I don't know. Because what? But whatever. Okay. Or what? Do I secretly have money that I don't actually have? Like, do I secretly have money? And then I'm pretending not to because I wanted to make this specific man feel forced. That's a level of imagination I don't think I even go to or stay in, because I'm like my real self. I'm like, damn, if you felt forced, that would be worse than like anything else, right? But like on an actual like real level. But the character, you know what? The character probably would be intentionally trying to identify like actual trauma and then force him to like be there, like just so I could be like dominant in the dynamic. That's weird, right? It's funny because I think the character of what would a non-spiritual version of this be is totally the opposite, because all the vulnerability would have to be fake and stuff, you know, so it's so like extreme. I don't even know, but whatever. You know how much I would have to invent fake past lives and then memorize them just to never get them wrong. I would be able to do like necromancy at that point, like raising people out of the grave and they would be like walking around again or something, or like, you know how much I would probably have to keep the mind busy so I'm not doing like science experiments illegally regarding like that human body or something. Like, I would have to be like what I'm saying, like the level of like there would be no insanity in my brain. It would just be manipulation, and it would be like needing to be able to force myself to like be busy constantly. I don't know. Okay. I don't know. If you think I'm that level of a vampire, then that's almost like a separate level of accomplishment, to be honest with you, because I don't know how I would come across that way, but whatever. It's fine. Is this love or transformation disguised as love? Love or transformation disguised as love? Wow, I mean, based on what we just talked about, I think this is probably transformation disguised as love. Is it? I don't know. Is it? Is it? What's the difference? Because transformation, doesn't that create love? Sometimes I think transformation, you can only become like a better version of yourself. I mean, actually you could like force yourself to be worse, but like, I just believe real spiritual transformation, you kind of release whatever was harming you and you just get stronger so it doesn't happen again. That's what I think. Low-key, I actually accidentally like wiped off the lipstick, but I don't think you could tell. But it made me realize how easily this lipstick like transfers. And then I was like, wait. Because it's kind of a romantic video, it made me think about how like you know how it's kind of romantic? Oh, mildly. Mildly. If you're wearing lipstick and then you like kiss somebody's like whole body. Like, I thought of that. But you probably have to reapply it like multiple times for it to actually have like the potency to actually like look good the whole time. Like the lipstick, because it would start to come off, so each time it wouldn't transfer the same way. So, but I was like, oh, that's romantic. But I feel like I am a very romantic person, but I keep that personality so far suppressed because I'm like, oh, that's not my everyday personality. That's gonna be weird. I'm like, that personality is so suppressed because I know things, but things would not be appropriate for everyday culture. Even in conversations with your twin flame, you cannot just start saying extreme things. That would be a very mild example of, actually you probably could. You probably could. But don't you want to try to use that to manipulate them to end the separation first? You might. If this man does not become spiritual, well, he's probably not going to find out about this YouTube video, but it would have to be going so viral. But if he did find out, first of all, he would just think I'm like a dark psychopath or something. The most romantic, really dark psychopath you could think of, which would be an insanely nice compliment, but honestly, that would be like a more successful personality for me to have. It's just the only problem. The only problem with how that's a way more successful personality for me to have. I don't know. I think there will be problems, but I don't know what problems. Maybe I'm still figuring out which problems, because it's real. Now for the ritual, we actually transition into some other kinds of questions that are less twin flame oriented, but they're actually more about like they're like personal magic, glamour, or questions just about myself. But while it's not twin flame questions, because of the chakras being connected and whatever, and energy transfers, but it's not actually about the twin flame connection, I don't think. So yeah, it's mostly just like actually about myself, like glamour, magic questions to work on as a part of this ritual. I don't know how it's gonna go, because these are different than the normal questions I do, but I was like, wouldn't that be way more fun and stuff? I don't know if I do that as well. So yeah. When do I feel most like myself, and what's happening in that moment? Oh, did I mention my water is watermelon water? What I mean by that is that not all of it is entirely liquid. It's just water with like large chunks of watermelon in there just for fun, because I needed a more enriching experience. I don't know why. It just happened. I don't know. I used to feel, to answer the question, okay. I used to feel most myself while sitting poolside in the dark Florida night with good friends, many hours a night. Later on, I felt most myself wherever there were tarot cards, doing free readings for friends and for strangers. Now, I only feel like myself when my entire day, start to finish, is and feels like a ritual because of physical circumstance. I spend most of my time just trying to turn normal moments spiritual, and also analyzing why I have certain blocks in my life in place. If it would be most beneficial for me to be able to start and end each day, or have the entire day throughout it be a ritual, then wouldn't I be in a scenario or in a situation where I could easily do that? So what about my current episode of time is most beneficial exactly where I am. So I spend a lot of time working on, again, it brings me to the exact moment that I'm doing right now. It's raining so hard. Okay. Okay. So, yeah, like it kind of course I would be doing insane rituals if I felt like if I had infinite money. First thing I would do, honestly, I think I would live so within my means if I had infinite money. I think I would just get an apartment in New York if I had infinite money. Like, not even the most expensive one. I would just get one. Like, I wouldn't have roommates, but, like, again, infinite money, like, you know, so, okay. Probably in Manhattan, but, like, a close second would probably be Brooklyn or something. I don't think there's other ones that I would necessarily, like, gravitate towards. Not that, like, they wouldn't all be an experience I've never had, so there's that, but, yeah. Because I feel like, I don't know, I always want to be in a situation where I'm just there for fun, you know, like, or to mind my own business and just be doing, like, my own rituals. But because there's so many people, I would definitely be doing, like, indoor rituals. Okay, that's how it would start. I would definitely, well, I just thought of a deity that I could just work with now. It wouldn't be the same thing, but I could, like, integrate a few things where I'm at, but yeah, if I want to. I think I will, but maybe at some point. But yeah, so I think I would have, well, rituals involving, like, earth. It depends on, I think I would be doing a lot of, like, love spells, glamour rituals. Even though I would have infinite money, I think I would just start having clients for rituals just for fun, and also to make sure that I'm always getting stronger at my magic. But yeah, they would be, like, paying clients, which the ironic part is, like, why would I need the money? But it wouldn't be about that. It would just kind of be about, like, I would only want them to be my client if they actually mean it, I guess. But yeah. So it would be a barrier so that I don't feel like I have skeletons in my basement over who showed up for the ritual, you know? Like, I think you know what I mean. I don't know, but yeah, just to keep a little bit of a separation between me and the infinite people that exist. Oh, I guess I would mysteriously start going viral as a singer. Like, all of my albums and stuff, those I would just have ads on. If I had infinite money, it wouldn't be hard for me to take my music career from, like, 0 to 100, you know. So again, it's weird because if I had infinite money, all of the streams of income would just open up, so it would be, like, the most pointless paradox ever. But it would be nice to actually have my work feel valued, and, like, to actually get to the next level, because it's so much more than just money. To want to get to the next level, I would want to be able to have my magic feel like it has results, but sometimes a real spell and ritual needs physical resources. Every type of ritual you can think of, I would probably start experimenting with a lot more if I had the rituals to physically buy, like, or the rituals, if I had the finances to physically buy, like, material for it. I have to get really creative with the way that I'm willing to do it. Say all I have to do a ritual is, like, an apple. Oh, but do I want it to be a curse, a love spell, a money spell? But I only have the apple. I don't even have something to add to the apple itself. Well, I guess I could, like, carve sigils on the outside of the apple and then maybe, like, leave it outside or something. But, like, that's almost like, say I don't even have the apple and I just have, like, a piece of paper, but I can't burn it or anything. So how am I going to turn only a piece of paper or only a glass of water or something? Like, it could feel so restricted. How can I turn that into, like, a spell? A lot of times I can't, or it wouldn't be strong. And that's because part of our world is just physical resources. And so that's why I'm actually trying to think of ways to like, I mean, I just have to get a job, but like that doesn't mean that I have like the money to move out or something. I think the fact that jobs are minimum wage and in my area they don't even want to hire like full-time causes weird problems. So my ritual most of the time is just not having the money for a ritual, but already being the person I am. So I guess it's like I do try to think about it like, okay, well, if the spirits I work with wanted me somewhere different, they would be able to help me to create that. They want me to be doing exactly what I'm doing right now and work through, use the emotions I have or the knowledge I have or whatever it is, whether it even feels like a small amount or a big amount at the time, right? And use my vulnerability to try to get to the next level and find a deeper meaning in that. Which is weird. But if it would benefit me more to be in a different situation, I do believe that deities are so strong they could just do that. If they wanted more evolved offerings, they would make sure that I at least have like the basic ability to give them the offering they need. But if they make that impossible, it's because I have insecurity about the level of offering that I feel like I could give to them. They could still be like, well, yeah, try to do something, but at the same time, while that is true, it's also like it's not about, okay, like $1 million, just you don't have a certain amount of money that you decide, I would do a ritual if I had this much money, but like if I had like $5 I could put towards like some kind of supply for the ritual, like whether it's like a candle or like a low level candle is like $5, you know what I mean, or like a normal candle is like $15, $10, like what? Those geese? I don't know if it's like goose mating season outside my window in Florida, but like in the street. It's like in the street. Yeah. But yeah, if I had like $5 or $10 like to put towards the offering or the ritual, then I would feel like, oh, the supplies facilitate some of the magic, but what if my magic would be stronger if someday I'm able to do it and just don't have the resource right now? I don't know. What version of me feels the most effortless, not performed? The lipstick stayed on, but it feels like kind of dry, so. Gotta touch it up. The version of me that feels the most effortless and not performed is usually, wait, did I get lipstick on my teeth? I don't know. Okay. Usually, while creating lyrics to a good song, I try to keep my judgment and opinions away from the lyrics, but also try not to, like, while I keep my judgment and opinions away from the lyrics, I also don't try to make them like offensive or anything, because that's just not me. That's just not what I would actually be comfortable with. Like, I try. Does it always come out that way? I don't know, but I try my best to, if, like, I do have a filter as a person, but at the same time, I try to keep, like, my judgment. Well, I'll write something and I'll be like, is there a way I can make it, like, way better that just instantly comes to my brain? But if I can't think of a way, I usually will just do it the way that I did think of, and I feel like I'm willing to be authentic in a lot of ways. in a lot of ways that lots of people would probably not do. And I even mean that just like unfiltered, unedited audio with no production. While it makes maybe a boring listening experience for now, at this phase of life, it's kind of unfiltered to be like, first of all, I don't even have the money to like get these studio produced, and I don't know how to do it myself. And, you know, the million hours it would take for me to learn to do it myself, I spent that time just writing songs instead, because I wanted to sharpen the part that I personally feel passionate about, not wait to continue growing as an artist in the way that I care most about. I think production is cool because it plays into the reasons why we listen to the songs we listen to, but my dream is to have somebody else produce the songs I already created and just keep me as the original singer, but actually have them like do whatever to the remaining like audio and just make it sound so amazing that people will listen to it, that it gives them a reason to care more to a higher degree. Yeah. But that's like a level of vulnerability. Most people are not going to never use autotune, even if they're pretty sure, oh, this take sounds really bad, right? What am I gonna do? Well, do I think I could do a better one this exact second, or am I gonna go with the original? Oh, I'm gonna go with the original. Even though it might not be amazing, well, someday I might be a really amazing singer, and it might be cool to look back on my exact growth and like when that happened and all of that. Yeah. I know. Yeah, but I find ways to put real experiences into words that feel pretty, is how I feel. Essentially, I'm willing to be so myself that I'm even willing to let the lack of myself in certain areas not just exist, but be seen very easily, and also be something that a lot of people could even hate me because of or based on. So it's a level of vulnerability. You know, a lot of people on the planet will probably think, well, you're probably like an NPC, completely, right? Like, you're probably like an NPC if you can't even produce your own songs, but you think anybody wants to listen to this, and it's just you singing into Snapchat with no like effects or anything, right? So like, to sort of not have, I'm like, if I had $100,000, it wouldn't be enough to produce every song that I have. Assuming, like, I have 1,430 something songs, I think. It's definitely gonna cost more than $100 a song. I mean, probably, right? Like, just because it would take them so many hours to do it. How many people would I have to actually be able to pay at the same time to be able to work on the project at the same time as each other? And then, of course, the amount that they're going to be able to coordinate it with each other to make sure that it's all cohesive. I mean, yeah, I'd be involved with, like, the vibe of this has to be this way and that way, right? But, like, I'm not so, like, I can be very relaxed with, like, if you think in your professional opinion it should be this way or that way, then just do it. Because why not try it? So, yeah, I think I'm very, like, relaxed, but yeah, my style with things is like very relaxed, but I do want it to be done well enough that it at least doesn't take away from the like work that's already there. Like, I want it to be something that adds something to make it better, not worse, I guess. I don't know. It's so hard to explain, but yeah. There's a level of vulnerability where you're willing to let people see something about you that does exist, that could be embarrassing. And then there's a level of vulnerability where you're willing to let people see the part of you that does not exist at all. That's definitely embarrassing. And then they decide that your lack of maybe your resources or having access to something is just an extension of you and a part of you that has to be perceived as a piece of your soul. And that's confusing to navigate. Am I above everybody's league or so far below it, right? Like, who's also working on 40 albums, if I wanted to be realistic about that in any capacity, right? Like, nobody's also working on that, and it's not a standard I set in my life at all. But if people could be intimidated, then they're definitely going to be intimidated by that. Oh, but what if they just wanted to see me as like, that's embarrassing. You think you could someday be a content creator? Is their perception of, oh, you have this much content out? That's sort of not the same thing to me either, because like, well, it doesn't mean that I'm not a content creator just because I didn't have like hundreds of thousands of dollars to put towards advertising money so far, and then a completely separate hundreds of thousands of dollars, plural, to put towards production of the amount of songs that I have out. What? Oh, okay, yes, the standard for me to be equal to everybody else would require me to be a multi-millionaire this exact second. For you to not see me as below you, somebody who's never put out a single song. Part of why I think that's part of why I don't really date people, because I would have to, it's important when you're going to have a equal level of value to somebody that they can at least identify which party has value. And if something absolutely increases your value, like, oh, I'm a witch, like I took time to like learn about magic and stuff, what if they see that as like -5 points? Oh, me having a level of passion you can barely find anywhere else is -5 points. Me caring to try to have control over some part of my reality is -5 points. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, every second of that would just be insulting. And I'm not willing to sit there through another insulting conversation. I feel like I stopped pretty young, wanting to sit through another insulting conversation where they're somehow better than me for all the effort I put in, that they couldn't do the same thing, but they're better because they just simply knew not to. What? You just knew not to. Okay, person I'm never gonna talk to again. I'm glad that you knew not to. What do I secretly like about myself that I don't say out loud? I'm gonna think about this, because I feel like I tell you guys everything to the point that you know. Everything. I feel like you know a lot about me. I think I thought of something you guys don't know about me. I know I'm scared too. What could you possibly not know? I know. What am I doing, right? I know. This is like extreme and weird. Okay. What am I about to do? All right. Okay. Meanwhile, I'm like, is this even a fact about me? Is this a fact I like about myself? Is this a fact about myself? For First of all, my makeup looks kind of fantastic, vampire-y. The muted, dark, blood raspberry lip or whatever. Pretty good. What? Okay. The secret thing about me, actually, you guys should pretty much be able to pick up on that. Only because, first of all, twin flames have a lot of stuff in common with each other. I know, it's this fact about me, but it sort of pulls on that energy. But you guys should be able to put two and two together to be like, wait, what do we not know about me that you know about my twin flame? But also, this can't possibly be that hard to fathom. This is gonna be weird. But it's like not weird. So weird, so weird. Meanwhile, it's like this would be a very easy thing for like my twin flame to say probably, but like for me, I'm like, I'm gonna take 30 minutes to decide if I'm sure that I'm gonna say this. Cause then it's like out there, I don't know. It's like, is that walrus? Is that some kind of seal? Or is that a ghost? Or is that a phantom? Okay. It's like, why can't I just think of something else that I like about myself that I'm fine with using for this? Why can't I just think of something else? Does this go too far? I don't know. Okay. Okay. The secret thing that I like about myself that I don't talk about is that, first of all, I gotta explain the whole thing. Okay, so, well, I'm not in a relationship and I'm not like having casual sex or anything in between, but basically I feel like I'm such a romantic and like sexual and like sensual person still, despite that that sometimes I feel like if my twin flame and I were like in a relationship, but if it felt like grounded and like everything is like perfect, if he wanted to have like an orgy with like a bunch of like extremely hot people, I would totally say yes to that. Again though, I would have to actually find everybody attractive because those are the boundaries I'm not trying to like break, I guess. But like if everybody were like, first of all, not people that I felt like he left me for or something weird, okay? Don't play with that, because like that would be extreme if I didn't know and they all were or something, or any of them. That would be pretty extreme, because then you know, but assuming that's not the situation, assuming it's just for fun but like all the people are like attractive and it's like with my twin flame, then I think I'd probably feel comfortable enough to do that, because I don't think that's actually wrong or weird. I just wasn't gonna like go do that myself for no reason, which sounds weird, because I wasn't gonna like casually hook up with people again just because of like boundaries and because I don't know, maybe I think I'm better than everybody and stuff, but like that doesn't mean that I don't also want to like have fun experiences too. So yeah, now the internet knows. Before anybody ever found out the internet knows, okay. I only think about that sometimes. It's like I would not do that like every day. Like I would try that. Like I'd be willing to. Which seems extreme for me, but yeah. Where in my life do I shrink? And what would expansion look like there? I think sometimes my first priority with that is remembering that it's actually not bad to be able to keep to yourself in a way. Like, if you naturally feel like doing that in a space or in a situation or in an environment, there may be a reason. Sometimes if you're too outspoken about some of the things you're not supposed to be talking about, it can turn your life. Normally, your life might be something where you can compartmentalize the parts that you didn't want to talk about or that you weren't meant to talk about. But if you become somebody who is so outspoken that you don't want to push your own boundaries even when you don't know what your own boundaries are yet. So I think sometimes people try to be reserved to like analyze the way they feel in their environment before they decide what they want to say. Sometimes I don't actually want to push past the boundaries in that way because I think what keeps me grounded is sometimes the way that I'm like where I feel small, or not physically really, but like small compared to like other people. Like if it's sort of like, I don't know how to explain it, sort of sometimes it keeps me more grounded to not be taking up space, because what if I would be making decisions that I haven't actually thought through, and it would be all like, I don't really want my life to all be like, well, one thing led to another and this and this and that happened and then this happened and that happened, like, oh, I don't know how I ended up there in this weird situation. I don't really want to be surprised when I look at my own choices because I wish they were different or something. I don't know. I don't want to ever feel so outspoken, or, well, not that it would be bad. I feel like I'm bold a lot, but sometimes I'm not. But I feel like sometimes it's deliberate, but sometimes it's not even deliberate. It's just I feel like this almost like instinct to do that, to keep to myself in a certain way or in a certain category of my life. And then later on, months later or years later, it like makes sense, and it'll be like, oh, I didn't realize it was for this reason, or I didn't realize it was for that reason. Like, I never wanted to cause something so negative that I would have caused had I like stepped that far out of my comfort zone. Sometimes the comfort zone is actually just, there's a reason you feel comfortable with that and a reason you don't feel comfortable with it, because you're like around certain types of energy and you're not supposed to have to like always force yourself out of that. Learning, okay, there's subliminals that keep us in our comfort zone. Well, there's also subliminals that tell us we're not trying at all if we're not trying to escape it, and that's not fair either. Because sometimes you don't want to tell the whole world everything, but had you been the loudest, most outspoken person, everybody found out anyways, and then it's weird, and then you're like, well, that wasn't my plan. Now it ruins this whole entire trajectory of how I could have chosen whatever I wanted, like, instead, in the place of that. What kind of attention actually feels good to receive, not just familiar? The kind of attention that feels good to receive, not just familiar, is probably when my twin flame says something to me that would sound disturbing to another person, but I feel like I know exactly how he feels, and that I feel the same way. So sometimes if somebody says something to you that sounds disturbing, but you feel like you also feel the same way and you relate to them, then it's weird, because it's almost like backwards. Like, it kind of turns what other people would see as like negative into like receiving positive attention. It's like if you had a conversation with your twin flame, but you're kind of just bullying each other, but you're like, I feel so seen. Like, that's exactly how I feel. Do you hear the rain? Do you hear the rain? It's so extreme. Okay. When do I feel naturally attractive without trying? Without trying. I think sometimes natural beauty, just because it requires, you know, less products or less procedures or less whatever, or less forced editing or something, right? Well, natural beauty, I feel like you still try for. I feel like you still do the basic, if you actually want to feel naturally beautiful, it's about preserving the little spark of beauty that you feel like you have as yourself. So I don't know how I would explain it, but like, yeah, it's like your youth, right? It only leaves you, it never comes back naturally. So what do you do to preserve what you currently have and make sure you have like positive experiences with the remainder of the youth that you naturally have in how you look? So yeah, I think, like, I'm wearing makeup right now, so that can't count as natural beauty. And I just think if I did not do anything to like upkeep how I look, even though I don't feel like I do a lot, if I did absolutely nothing, I don't think it would be very easy for me to feel naturally beautiful as far as like my physical self, like my body or face or anything. I feel like there's still some level of like upkeeping yourself. There's not really effortless, like effortless beauty. It's sort of like Disney princess fairy tale, like she woke up that way. She woke up with red lipstick on, it naturally grows there for some reason. You know, like she wakes up with already styled hair. Her waist is that small and the rest of her body is normal size. Naturally. She was born that way and it never changed. Okay. If you say so. If you say so. If you say, we all got that conditioning. No wonder people have so many different things going on. Their waist was supposed to be fitting inside of this, and the rest of them was supposed to be normal? What? Wait, what? What? I don't think I heard you correctly. Like, she woke up that way? And best friends with a singing reindeer? Or something? Like, she woke up best friends with a fish that sings and talks? And with her waist that small? And she still had time to find the perfect man or whatever? I don't know. And there's not really gay Disney princesses yet, are there? I don't think it happens a lot, but that's not very inclusive. They can barely realize there's more than 2 or 3 skin colors though, and hair colors and whatever. Like they're really confused. But they will all be that small. All of them. All of them. And then 3-year-olds are gonna watch it and be like, oh, when I turn 18, I'm gonna look like that. When I turn 15, I'm gonna look like that. When I'm 25, I'm gonna look like that, you know? Like, you are? You're gonna be the first on the planet. I think, like a good sunscreen face moisturizer, I think, but then you're probably like at the beach or something, you know what I mean? What would be like a natural beauty? Well, maybe it's like a natural look, but you weren't fully natural. Then I think like the skin, not lipstick and not eyeshadow, but just the skin makeup I have on now. For reference, you can see a little bit of like freckles. It doesn't seem fully even right here, but yeah. But, or it's lighting, I don't know. But you can kind of see it is a very light blurring effect of on the skin, and it makes it look glowy. Like, that's more so actually what I do like about the product, is it bringing that out. I wasn't trying to avoid my skin looking glowy. I actually kind of like it, and the way it sort of like it makes like the lighting have like dimension on my face from certain angles. Weird thing to want, but you can even see like there's like freckles on my nose naturally, you know what I mean? But I think if I added fake freckles, I think it would bring out more natural beauty feeling vibes. Lipstick, obviously not red. I wouldn't do anything with eyes, or I would just do mascara, because you can kind of get away with that being like a natural look if people are stupid. For lips, I think I would do a closer to the skin tone but a little darker, like orange, but in a not obvious way, so they can't tell, I guess. Whatever, I don't know. I think I would do a lip liner like it's darker with it, just for fun, but that would make it not like super natural. But yeah, that's pretty good. But there's not fully natural beauty to where you feel okay. Maybe some people, you have like an insane level of confidence or something, I don't know. I'm not saying it's never happened on the planet. I'm just saying, like, you woke up like that, and then you woke up like that, and then you woke up like that, and then you woke up like that, which is great. But when do you feel the most like you woke up like that? It's great. I'm happy for you. I'm so happy for you. But all I'm saying is, how do you differentiate when you feel like you woke up like that? Actually, it's probably some kind of like ritual or something. The way I forgot. That's even a choice. Okay. What I mean is that mine would probably be exactly what I described, but that some people probably have a way better answer that I don't know about. Maybe some people just eat really healthy food, and somehow they understand the chemistry of their body and bringing more aliveness out in themselves. I mean, they're like genius if they do that. I don't know anything about that. Okay. I don't know why, the way I have watermelon in this cup is so scary. It's not scary, it's just pieces of watermelon, but it's so scary because I recently decided something so weird that doesn't make any sense. I'm still developing my my perspective on this. If you decided all time was happening at the same time, that means all food is decomposing. And then you choose, you make the decision to interrupt the process and cause it to not be happening in the future. Hear me out. It means essentially all food has a destiny until you decide which food to interrupt the destiny of and change it with just the chemistry of your body. Unfortunately, well, what happens to food in its natural state if you let it go on forever? All food is broken down by the earth, meaning it's broken down by creatures that do something to it. That means all food, either, if you wanted to collapse time and decide all time is happening at the same time, all food either has ants eating it, swarming it, or it has maggots in it. All food. All food. Or anything else like that that interrupts the process. But that's the process. Or it has like mushrooms growing out of it, or like mold in it, you know what I mean? But like it's being eaten by another like creature that's like doing the damage, right? Or, you know, you look at, for example, watermelon, a really good piece of watermelon, and you're like, oh, this looks so good to me. I know it has a destiny of having maggots in it, but it looks so good to me. I think I'm gonna interrupt the process and change the process for this one piece of food and eat it. The trauma of even thinking of it that way. I'm like, wait, what? Oh, of course, yeah. It's fine, it's normal. But when that happens, depending on your magical philosophy, does it come from the food or was it contaminated by the creatures? Did the creatures teleport there? Or does all food have the potential of maggots hatching inside and crawling out, and if a tree falls in the forest and no one's around to see it, I don't know, Schrodinger's cat or something, dude, what are we supposed to do? Does all food secretly have maggots in it we can't see, but we're like, it's only when food is decomposing that the veil is lifted and we're allowed to see it? Because it's happening anyways? Someday, if you can ever see the invisible maggots in food and it's only on Halloween, and then the rest of the year you can't, the veil is a little different. The veil is a little different on Halloween or something. That's what people say, that you can like see things. It does feel like on holidays are like a whole entire ritual themselves. It's not even just the government, it's just like the Time Lords and the timeline, and they're like, oh my god, you're going to have this exact experience on this day and I have to force it to happen. So we're gonna change the veil between worlds. Like, we're gonna make you able to sense all of this weird stuff for no reason. Okay. It's fine. What? The question of the day. The question is, what am I overcompensating for? And what happens if I stop? What happens if I stop? What? The thing that I'm overcompensating for is that my twin flame ran away to date random people for no reason, just to not actually be happy with the random people the way that I would naturally activate that level of happiness. Then he's going to pretend to be happy while desperate to convince himself that nothing can fill the void. Where did the happiness go? Oh, it's almost like I choose things that don't lead to happiness, and it's almost like when something doesn't lead to happiness, I do it again. Whatever, I sound so mean. Or do I sound so nice? I don't know. Both? Exactly. I sound honest. That's not really mean or nice. I was just honest. See the lightning there? That happened, right? I don't know. I was like, I didn't cause that. I don't even know if it happened. It's fine. That's how I feel about my whole life. I'm like, did I cause that? Can I even tell if it happened? Just in general, with everything. I'm like, did I cause that? Can I even tell if it actually happened or if I just thought it did? The other thing The thing I feel like I overcompensate for is probably just childhood trauma, but I low-key feel like I beat the actual trauma because I just stopped caring about it. And I just decided, well, I just am the person I am. Like, I don't really care about where it comes from. I just am the person I am. It's not gonna be some event in my life that caused it. I'm just me, dude. I'm just so resilient that, like, this is just who I am because this is who I am meant to be. Anyway, don't worry. I'm gonna blame it on somebody else. I'm kidding. Oh, it's fine. Okay. So I feel like I pretty much beat the actual childhood trauma because I just don't care. For the most part, I just feel like my twin flame and I are constantly trapped in situations where he just does whatever he wants with other people and doesn't think about how disrespectful it is to me. Exactly. What are you gonna say to that? Not a lot. I don't hear anything. It's almost like I was right. I don't hear anything. I don't hear an objection. I don't hear one. Again, I don't hear one. It's taking a long time. There must not be an objection. Oh, you agree? I'm glad that we're on the same page. Exactly. Imagine if I didn't have the lipstick on and it was like kind of normal colored and then I didn't have eyeshadow on at all and I told you this was me without makeup. Just imagine. That's funny. I don't know, but it's fine. I could, right? What are you gonna do? Are you gonna say you're not naturally glowy? I don't know. Okay. I don't know. No, two bads. Talking while ordering a pizza. Whose funeral is it? Did you see the lightning? That was so good. Oh. That was so nice. Okay, go. Focus. What's wrong with you? You're zoning out. You're like making stuff up now. Come on. What's going on? Okay. Focus. Wow, this ritual is so activating. It's almost like I have a personality. No, I'm supposed to be one of the NPCs. What is happening? All this work into being one of those and it didn't even do anything. How many years did I put in? It didn't even do anything. My investment didn't work. Okay. What? Oh wait, the question. Yes. What would confidence look like if it was quiet instead of loud? What's an example of like quiet confidence? Oh, probably surgeons. They don't necessarily talk about a lot in the operating room, but you know they're thinking of a lot. But like the quiet confidence, like they're pretty sure they can keep their patient alive. Maybe people who work in the... Ooh. I was like, wait. That was kind of nice. Okay. Maybe people who work in like the morgue or something have some haunting quiet confidence because ghosts are going to be perceiving them all the time. and like I think you start to seem like you have quiet confidence when you're around creatures that are not in a body. You have a body, they don't even have a body. Like, they're gonna look at you like you're so confident you even have a body. No, like ghosts, spirits. You're so confident you even have a body, they don't even have one. Imagine being so unconfident that you don't even have one. That's not just rest in peace, that's rest in insecurity. The questions that go way too far continue. What am I done apologizing for? Drinking water with watermelon inside. Wait. Is it really water with watermelon inside? Or is it just watermelon? Get it? Do you get it? Do you even understand? Because, like, you could just call watermelon melon. And yeah. Do you even get it? You don't get it. You don't know what to do. You don't get it. Like, you still don't get it. So, like, the water part takes the place of, like, the water in watermelon. So now it's so now it's watermelon. But it used to be watermelon and water, but it's still in water, but it's just melon. It's not watermelon anymore, so now it's watermelon. Do you get it? You don't get it. You still don't get it. You still don't get it. Okay, it's fine. You don't have to understand. No, you don't have to. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I know, we'll leave it to the smart people. It's okay. It's okay. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's weird, but it's fine. I'll let it slide this time, but you better get the joke next time. You're gonna start to look weird if you don't understand any of this. You're gonna start to look weird for this, okay? Wait, I'm glad I talked about this part. Basically, the watermelon itself, it's like taking itself apart in the water. So it actually looks like there's like floating lines in it. So it's actually so scary because, yeah. It's fine. 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 No, it's fine. It's just watermelon. I'm not taking a thumbnail, I just want to do that. Wait, if I did like no glasses? Kind of worse, but it's fine. I hate angles in photos or in poses. Like, what I hate, say you're like this, I hate angles, but there's not a lot of things you can do. You have arms, and if you don't incorporate them in the photo, you're gonna seem like you're not trying to like be interesting, but you can't just cut off your arms just because it would look better, because then the next day you're gonna be expected to have arms. and there's such a double standard in society where all your photos are going to have angles, but you're still expected to have arms. And I don't really know what we're gonna do about that, but absolutely nothing. It's so sad. What's the plan? like we need to think about this for like a while and like actually come up with a plan, because I don't know, how are we not gonna have angles in photos? That's not a thing. What are we gonna do? Okay. At least I have a sense of humor. I'm like, see, I would have such a hard time if I had to pose for like an actual photo right now, because I would have to find some way to not have angles in the photo, or I'm gonna be in like psychosis of like, why when I create an angle in the photo, why is the angle in the photo? it's giving like, well, because your body does that if you choose to do that, but then I can't figure out why it worked, and I'm really mad because I just wish it didn't work, because it wasn't what I actually wanted, but it was the only choice I made. I don't know. Actually, the makeup is like, it's kind of good, but it's kind of bad. Obviously, if I had an actual brush, it would be way less all the way down here for the green. I did green under eye circles, like, but it's kind of supposed to be like closer up here. I didn't want it in the waterline. I don't like doing that. But like, it could be less than that, but it's fine. I'm so enchanted that it doesn't really matter, because it's like, I crawled out of the forest covered in moss, in a wire with like diamonds and weird stuff in there, and like, you get what you get. You get what you get. It doesn't even matter. I don't know. I give up. Oh yeah, the question. Did I even say the question? Maybe I did. What do I want to be known for without explaining myself? Constantly, I think of the things that I don't want to be known for. Weird stuff I don't want to be known for. Being some degree of psychic, you think of the things that you don't want other people to psychically pick up on about yourself. All the time, I'm like, kind of begging with the universe. I'm like, please let this part not be what I'm known for. Let anything else be what I'm known for. Please just let this one part not be what I'm known for. Like, I can't do this. Please let this one thing not be what I'm known for. Please, please, what do I have to do for this one thing to not be what I'm known for? Like, what's going on? You know, and like, I just, please, like, you don't know how much I would really rather this one thing just not be what I'm known for. Like, what do I have to do? Just, what do I have to do? Oh, what do I have to do? You know? I don't want that to be what I'm known for. What do I have to do? I think I used to care so much what I would eventually be known for, but I used to care so much what I would eventually be known for. had to chill out. And you can't really choose. You can brainwash the people and only tell them like 1 or 2 things about you, but you don't choose what information stays with people individually and what doesn't. I think I want to be known for I don't even know. Yeah, I really don't know. I think before I started like creating any music, I was so annoying about what I would have wanted to be known for, sort of by the planet, if I had to be known by the planet, or like I would be so obsessed, like it has to be this exact way, like what's gonna happen, like what am I gonna do? I feel like I released all that. I'm like, you're lucky I'm even in this room with you, dude. Like I went so far that way to where I'm like, what was I gonna like try to make you know me a certain way? Like which of us was gonna do that? Not me. No, not me. Not me. Okay. The next question. Where do I abandon myself to be understood? It's okay, I already know my answer for this one. Well, on my path to be one of the watermelon squirrels, I ran into this question a lot. I have a lot of experience with it. And decided that if I bake Moldavite brownies and trade them with the resin wizard gnomes, I would stop feeling lost in the world. But one of the biggest problems that I ran into in that situation was sort of like a social abandonment of myself when actively initiating trade with the resin wizard gnomes. As you can tell, this is emotionally difficult to talk about because sometimes you know, I wanted to make sure I wasn't coming across a certain type of way, because then they might not want to give me as good of a deal, because they might think that like my self-esteem seemed low enough that I would be willing to like essentially accept a worse deal, and I didn't, and they can be kind of a risky trade counterpart, and so I didn't want to agree to something significantly worse than what I could have gotten out of it had I just been as confident as possible, but like facing with them specifically. So facing that a lot of times it felt like, am I abandoning my real self just to appear more confident to them, even when I don't want to? Pretty much, yeah. Anyway, I feel like this has been a very long video. Maybe I should end this exact video, edit it, post it, then decide if I want to make another video. What? How many hours at a time? I don't know, but, or if I want to do something different. Yeah. Anyway, I love you guys. I hope you had so much fun with the video and existing. And clearly the vulnerability of the questions and how honest all of my answers were, and how important life is. Goodbye. 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 See you later.